Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat, to all subscribers and OFW, Armed Forces of the Philippines, if retirees and active in the service. So today's video, isa na pong news natin sa Philippine government, sa ating Armed Forces of the Philippines, sa regarding po sa deal or procurement o sa fighter jet na deal natin sa US para sa modernization ng NEP. So, umpisa na po natin. The Philippines has warned that is 5.6 billion deal to acquire F-16 fighter jet from the United States will be jeopardized by a new round of tariff proposed by U.S. President Donald Trump. So ito na, piktado na yung order natin na F-16 fighter, multi-role fighter jet, Falcon. So, basahin natin. This has raised concern not just about the future of the arms deal, but also about the broader implication of U.S. trade policy on defense partnership and Indo-Pacific. So, nandiyan po yung nakapost yung natin, yung in-order nating F-16. Philippine Ambassador to the U.S., Jose Manuel Romualdez, emphasized that his country is urging trade officials from both sides to discuss how we can go through this whole process. So, nag-ano ang ating ambassador kung paano na yung mapusto yung pag-process ng yung problema dyan yung tariff eh. He noted that while the U.S. recorded $4.8 billion trade deficit with the Philippines, the proposed fighter jet agreement would effectively create $1 billion surplus for the U.S. Its quid and pro quo, Romualdez said, adding that he believed Trump had made clear that the tariffs were intended to balance trade. Ito na po. Earlier this month, the U.S. approved the sale of F-16 Block 70-72 aircraft to the Philippines. This deal is a cornerstone of Manila efforts to modernize its air force amid this growing tension in the South China Sea, where China has steadily expanded the military presence. So, nag-acquire tayo ng F-16 na jet fighter para sa malaking tension sa South China Sea. Kasi ang China, malaki niya sa military presence niya sa South China Sea. Isa tayo sa Clayman, Spratly Island. So patuloy po nating basahin para may history din tayo. Impact of tariffs on the F-16 supply chains. Analysts warn that tariff could indirectly raise the cost of the fighter jets, given the complex global supply chains involved in their production. So kasi yung ano po, ng F-16, ano yan, Lockheed Martin po ang produce niyan. Umepektuhan talaga ang manufacture niyan, ang production. Tarif, kasi i-increase ang tarif, i-increase din ang ano nila. Kasi dala na yung mga ano niyan eh, pyesa niyan eh. Lockheed Martin sources parts from over 500 suppliers worldwide, including from countries that may also be affected by U.S. tariff. So, sa 500 countries, supplier worldwide, apektuhan talaga. This could lead to high transportation, raw material, and manufacturing costs, which could ultimately be passed on to buyers such as the Philippines. So, ibig sabihin po nito, yun ay yung higher na transportation cost or materials na manufacture causing is automatic sa buyer ang pupunta. So, doon ipapatong. Pareho ng Pilipinas as the Philippines. Vincent Kyle Parada, a former defense analyst for the Philippine Navy, explained that the back and forth between countries throughout the supply chain is going to raise manufacturing and maintenance costs for platforms like the F-16. Ikuha natin, nalito tayo eh. Yung deal natin sa F-16 eh, naabutan ng tariff. Ano ba yan? Nanalstrom eh. Ito na ang implication po niyan. Implication for U.S.-Philippines defense ties. The potential collapse of the F-16 deal could complicate Washington's broader strategy in the Indo-Pacific. The Philippines is a treaty ally of the United States under the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty and play a pivotal role in regional security, particularly in maritime dispute in the South China Sea. So matagal na po tayong ally ng US. Meron po tayong katawag na 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty. Yan pong 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty. So, for example, mayroong mga military exercises, nakaka-join tayo sa kanila, pwede dito i-held sa Pilipinas, pareho ng tinatawag na balikatan. Ito, basahin natin. Excuse me. Joint military exercise like the annual balikatan drills highlight the growing defense cooperation between the two countries. Last year, the U.S. deployed its Typhoon missile system to the Philippines for testing, and both nations signed a landmark agreement to expand U.S. access to Philippine military bases. Kasi last year po, nagpadala po ng Typhoon missile ang U.S. para matesting dito sa Pilipinas. Tapos nagkaroon ng agreement, yung may pinirman silang agreement na pwedeng ang Amerikano ay gumamit ng bases natin, kampo natin or Philippine base. Pwede sila. So, may agreement po yan. Sherwin Ona, an international fellow at the Institute for National Defense and Security Research in Taiwan, noted that the U.S. has signaled a sense of urgency in supporting the Philippine defense posture. This urgency may push Washington to reconsider its trade policy with the allies. So, dahil ally nga tayo, baka magkaroon pa ng consideration sa tariff. So, baka bigyan ng consideration. Pero, may mga ano pa yan, discussion pa yan. The impact of Trump tariff is being closely monitored by other U.S. allies. So, monitor ito na yung mga allies. Like Australia, part of the AUKUS security pact with the U.S. and the UK. The kingdom ito is also facing scrutiny regarding its purchase of Virginia-class nuclear power submarine from the U.S. So, hindi lang pala tayo napitpan. Pati ng United Kingdom kasi may plano silang bumili ng submarine nuclear power na submarine sa US and UK. May epekto din sa tariff. Damay-damay na pala ito. Wala tayong magawa. Damay-damay na pala ito. Analysts warned that supply chain disruption and tariff could significantly increase costs, although AUKUS encompasses a broader security arrangement concerned about the price escalation and delivery delays may erode partner confidence. So, para ng UK, naka-order sila ng nuclear power submarine sa USA. Kung ng ano yan, price escalation, so ang delivery niya ay madidelay. Kasi yung mga grupo ng ano yan discussion dapat sa tariff. Pwede ba, reduce niya mo yan, dahil alay naman tayo So magkaroon pa negotiation yan. For Washington, the risks go beyond losing defense contract. So meron ding ano sa kanila, impact din to. Kasi mawawalan sila ng mga defense contract. It could risk fostering a perception of unpredictability and economic nationalism even among strategic allies. Nakapos na po dyan. So, maganda itong F-16 aeroplano ito. Ano yung Lockheed Martin ito The F-16 has long been a key component of U.S. Air Force or of U.S. air power used by many allied nations. Acquiring the F-16 will be improved interoperability between the Philippine Air Force and the U.S. military, which is crucial for joint operation, intelligence, and sharing. At least makaka-join na tayo mga exercises na maganda ang natin, ang ating aeroplano. Kasi as of now, nandiyan ipopost ko yan. Naki-join tayo sa exercise sa Air Force, U.S. Air Force. Ang gamit ng U.S. Air Force is F-16. Ang gamit natin, F-50 jet. F-50 jet na galing sa South Korea. Dalawang nabili ni na-order ni panahon ni President Pinoy. China's growing military presence and increasingly aggressive tactics in the South China Sea have spurred regional states to enhance their defense capability. So in China ay malakas ang presensya nila at napaka-agresibo nila sa South China Sea. Pinapalakas talaga ng depensa nila doon. The Philippines, Vietnam, and Malaysia have all filed multiple protests against what they view as illegal Chinese incursion into their exclusive economic zone. So yung mga claimants ng Spratly, like Vietnam and Malaysia, ay file ng multiple protests. Protest dapat tayo. Kasi sa tingin nila, illegal talaga yung pagpasok ng Chinese, sa exclusive economic zone. Halimbawa itong Chinese vessels have been involved in several maritime harassment incidents against Philippine ships, including those conducting resupply mission. Totoo po talaga ito. Kasi yung maritime natin naharas, lalo na yung mga fishermen. Marami ng insidente po nangyari na inaano sila ng water cannon. Yung mga ano natin, Coast Guard, yung mga barko natin. Kasali na yung yung halimbawa, magkaroon ng protection sa Sierra Madre, sa BRP Sierra Madre. Yung barkong sinadsa doon, yung mga sundalo natin yung nandun nagbabantay, mga Philippine Marines. So, rotation po niyan, 3 months yan. Ngayon, kailangan din nila ng supply doon, din pag-rotate ng personnel. Kailangan ng tubig, pagkain, medical supplies, o ano pang mga supplies. Minsan talagang hinaharangan nila, hindi lang minsan. So, nagpapatintero sila sa dagat. So, kailangan talaga na mag-modernize tayo. Okay, in response, the Philippines has bolstered its position in the Spratly Island and increased maritime patrols. The government is also investing in coastal defense and surveillance system, and so enhance cooperation with regional and Western partners. Washington has supported Manila maritime claims, criticizing that calls unlawful Chinese action. Yun nga, support din ng US, ng Washington, kasi ang action ng China talagang hindi maganda. Under President Marcos Jr., the Philippines has adopted a most assertive stance toward China and deepened its defense ties with the United States. The U.S. has been granted broader access to the Philippine military bases, and both nations have committed to closer intelligence and technology cooperation to support American arms sales to Manila. So yun nga, yung presidente, pag talaga sa US, close relationship talaga. Para din ang US, kailangan din nila tayo, mabigyan sila ng access sa ating military bases na magamit nila. Magkaroon ng intelligence and technology cooperation, tutulungan. Ito na. The Philippines is moving forward with its military modernization program. So yun nga, ginagawa ng gobyerno natin, pinapalakas natin ang ating sandatahan, ang military modernization program, nag-allocate po sila. Allocating 35 billion US dollar this year under his Horizon 3 program sa modernization, so $35 billion inano ng government natin para sa this year under his Horizon 3 program. Modernization phase 10 na siguro itong $35 billion, laki-laki nito The country aims to strengthen its alliance and counter China growing presence, particularly in the contested area of the China Sea. The region importance may compel the U.S. to reconsider the true cost of trade policies, while adding tariff is a key component of Trump's economic platform. Critics argue the strategic relationship shall be prioritized along the economic concern. So yun nga, dapat i-consider din ng US or ni President Trump na pagdagdag niya ng tariff sa mga pabagay, component niya ito sa economic platform niya, sa agenda niya, sa economic niya. Pero kailangan para magkaroon ng relasyon, dahil alay tayo ng US, hindi na siguro lakihan yung tariff. Medyo mabibigatan na tayo niyan. Instead na 4 billion lang, magiging 5 billion na. O tao at baka tumaas pa yan. Kasi kailangan po talaga natin na ano yan. Kasi modern talaga yung ano. So yung Air Force po, tsaka ang Navy, Philippine Navy tsaka US Air Force, yan po ang pinakamalalaki na budget sa modernization. Kasi kung sa Army, magkano man lang yung tangke, magkano man lang yung kanyon, yung bala, yung ammunition. Yung sa Air Force, aeroplano po, mahal po ang isang aeroplano. Pag bibili ka ng F-16 na fighter jet, bibili ka ng isang squadron ang bibilin mo, hindi pa ako kasali ang bala dyan. Ang tinatawag na M9, rocket, mga missile, hindi pa ako kasali yan. Ibang usapan na naman yan. Ibang dealing na naman yan. Ang binibili lang natin sa kanila, yung aeroplano na F-16. Pantong F-16 na ang manufacturer po ang Lockheed Martin. So sana nakapost dyan ang mga mga aeroplano, ganda talaga. Modern na talaga tayo. Kasi sa Asia parang ilan lang merong F-16. Parang Indonesia meron Malaysia, Thailand, wala pa. So yung $35 billion na allocation para sa Horizon 3, Phase 3 ba yan, ang modernization ng EAP program, maganda, malaking tulong po yun. Kasi ang Air Force at Navy, talagang mga very expensive po talaga mga equipment yan. Aeroplano, mahal yan. Barko, magawa ka ng barko, Navy, Philippine Navy, warship, nako, lalong mahal. Ilang billion yan. So, hindi makaya ng isang taong budget natin yan. Abuti pa ng 3 years na budget, bago makaw 6 years na budget. Yung nga ginagawang phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, hinati-hatian sila. When that phase 1, ilan lang nabili, yung phase 2, ilan din na mabili, hanggang mag-phase 3, hanggang yung ang kuta ng isang squadron, ma-meet niya. So hanggang budget po yan, budget po yan, kung paano ma-meet natin ang cost ng isang F-16 jet. Okay naman po yung mga ganyang programa. Modernization ng EAP yan at pera ng gobyerno yan, pera ng mamayan, mga taxes natin, dapat pag-ingatan. At then, may mga training pa yan sa mga piloto. Bago pa yan yan mga piloto. Maraming training pa yan. Hindi pwede sakyan mo agad yung aeroplano na yan. Si high-tech na yan. Kailangan magkaroon ka rin ng training. Then, kay President Trump naman, dahil ally naman tayo, meron tayong Mutual Defense Treaty ng 1951 as ally. So, i-consider din niya ang tarif niya, pag-add niya ng tarif sa atin, parang nang ginawa niya sa China, grabe taas ang ginawa niyang tarif. So, yung China nga, yung manufacturer, yung mga pabrika, nagpo-collapse na. Kasi yung mga order nila, yung imbis na darating, hindi na makarating. Kasi, okay, yung order, yung i-deliver na, hindi na makadeliver, may i-deliver nila kasi walang production sila, walang market, dahil sa tarif, lalaki ng tarif, ang taxes. So, yun ang resulta, pati tayo nadamay. Pati yung tiking na bibili ng submarine, nadamay na din. So, damay-damay na po ito. So, yun lang po ang may share ko sa inyo sa ating video for today. So, update lang po natin sa ating government, sa ating Philippine Air Force. Medyo madidismay ata ang ating order na F-16. Baka makancel ba o ano? Tingnan na malaman po natin kung anong resulta. So, yun lang po. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Ang Forces of the Philippines at Bayan ng Pilipinas. Maraming salamat po sa pagsubaybay sa akin and my subscriber. Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Thank you very much.